Hello, good afternoon or top of the day to you today. And thank you for coming in contact with this video. Like I promised that I was going to make the video on screen time management, building healthy screen habits in your kids and even in yourself as an adult. You're welcome to our platform. I am Nekafola Oetayo. I believe I'm your favorite coach. As you listen to this video, like our slogan is, please do remember that every child is important, every child is unique, every child is special, and that child in your care deserves any price that you have to pay, every good price that you have to pay in order to raise that child to become a leader in his or her own niche. So you're welcome to the class. So please, when you watch this video, just type in what resonates with you or let me know your name as you listen. So what is screen time? When we talk of screen time, we're talking of the accumulated time that you spend in front of your television, in front of your phones, in front of your video games, in front of whatsoever it is that has a screen in the home and that keeps you engaged. So it could also be your computer, your laptop. When we talk of screen time, we're talking of that time of being sedentary, that time when you deny yourself of or the kids of really being very active in doing any other thing. When we are watching the television or when we are seated in the front of a screen, it is known that we all stay still because whatsoever it is we are looking at will captivate us and hold our attention to a level or to a certain period of time, depending on what you are watching. And there's healthy screen time and there's unhealthy screen time. According to research, according to World Health Organization, when we talk of healthy screen time for children that are, or for infants aged 0 to 18 months, they are not to be exposed to the screen at all. We are not to expose them to the screen at all, because that is the moment when their senses are becoming very active. That is the moment when the brain cells are beginning to bloom and the blooming and the pruning activities are starting. So if you expose your child or an infant to the television, you are very sure that you will begin to struggle to imbibe your family values in your child. So kids or infants 0 to 18 months are not to be exposed to the television or to the screen or to video games. I know that most parents will want to use it to placate a crying child. The only time that it is healthy to expose a child or an infant of this age to the screen is probably maybe on you want to have a video chat with a relative, maybe grandma or anybody that is related to you. But as I said, outside that, screen time is not safe for children of this age. So when we talk of toddlers between the ages of 18 to 24 months, we are talking of giving them access to the screen for just 1 hour. And this 1 hour is to expose them to educational movies. And these educational movies should be co-watched. An adult should be there to watch with the kids. And as you're watching, you interpret or interact with the child. So that as you're doing so, your child is learning communication skills. Your child is learning interpersonal skills. I know it's a culture in some schools with kids of this age to use the television in teaching them. However, it's also important that these schools create room for one-on-one interaction by giving these kids other activities that will help to work on their fine motor skills. Give them activities that can help them to do certain things in the environment. Expose them to play so that they will learn how to interact with the people in their environment. I remember that in social studies, my teacher then taught me that the school is an agent of socialization. The major essence of sending a child of this age to school is to learn to interact with children of the same age and to be monitored by the adult also and help the child to grow well and be a balanced individual. So for children that are between the ages of 2 to 5 years, 1 hour during school days and should also be co-watched. In other words, mom or dad should be around to watch this program at home with the child, and whatsoever you are picking from the program, you should be able to ask your child questions, and these things will build up interaction and build a connection between you and your child, between the parent and the child. So that's one of the major essence of sitting down to watch these educational movies. And we are in dangerous times when the home or the family or the values of the families are being attacked. And because those we are, or those on the other side of the family or that are anti-family values, because they understand the power of the younger age, they understand the power of the ages 0 to 7 or ages 0 to 10, that it's the foundational stage. Whatsoever has been imbibed or planted in the child at that age, it will be very difficult for any human being to take it away, so long as that child has adopted it. Even the Bible says, train up the child in the way the child should grow. And the fastest and the easiest way to pass across information to a child is through visuals. And that is why we encourage parents that their child will imitate or copy the things that they see in their environment. And that is why sometimes when you hear a kid or a child speak, you'll be wondering, where did this child get this information from? Although it may seem that when certain things are happening in the home, that the child is not noticing, that the child is noticing. So you should be able to review whatsoever you want to expose your child to. Unfortunately, in these holidays, I discovered that some parents will lock their children inside the home and go to the market, pass instructions. And when there's light, the children will put on the television and watch whatsoever they wish to watch. And kids, like I often tell parents, from experience, I've observed that I've related with thousands and thousands of young people and even their parents, both from the good, the bad, the ugly homes. So I can tell you categorically that children have dual personalities. Most kids, the way they behave in the school environment is different from the way they behave in the home environment. And that is why sometimes when some parents complain, or when they get to the school and the school tells them what their child has done, some parents will be so surprised. So mind what you're exposing your child to. So children that are between the ages of 6 to 7 years, 2 hours of screen time is okay for them. And it's not compulsory that the kids watch television. Sometimes you can avoid it, especially when it is during school days. No more television, Mondays to Fridays. Then on Saturdays, you cannot expose them to television, academic or profitable TV programs. I often recommend Najo Wild Food Network to parents because Najo Wild will expose your child and make your child to know beyond his or her immediate environment. I will not support you that you expose your child to Netflix. Anyway, for me, I don't know the content contents of Netflix because I don't have the time to watch Netflix. Even if I have the time, I will not sit down to be watching television programs. If you see me watching television, that means I deliberately and consciously made up my mind to sit down and to watch. So, the eyes, the things that you expose your child to is highly important. So, when you talk of teenagers or adults, if you are an adult that work online like I do, then that 8 hours of working time, you know you're focused to your work. Then the 2 hours of relaxation. But parents should also step in and control the use of the phones, of the television for their teenagers, because these ones are already becoming big and they seem to understand the activities on the internet, and they have coded words or languages beyond the scale of their parents or beyond the scope of their parents. So it's important that you use this holiday period to build a connection with your own child. It's highly important. So anything beyond this timing becomes becomes threatening to your mental health, to your child's mental health. And what are the dangers of too much screen? You discover that even you as an adult, I remember when I was much younger, when there's light and we're watching program, or there has been light consistently and we all sit down watching one movie or the other, by the time the nepa takes the light and you get up, you feel frustrated, you feel depressed, you feel that like it's the end of the world. So it's also the same thing with the children. The other day a parent called me that the daughter was complaining, or the child was complaining of boredom, that mommy, I cannot stay at home, I cannot stay at home. So the next day when the mother called this particular, okay, let's go out together, let's go to my office, the child said, no mommy, I'm not going with you again. It was because there was no light. So you discover that when there's no light or excessive watch of these screens will lead to boredom when it's not available. It also leads to addiction, because these things that are prepared, maybe it is a movie or a game or whatsoever you are watching, there's an element of addiction attached or added to it that will make you to keep coming. For instance, the Facebook, the number of likes that you get will make you to keep posting. Then if you don't get like, to some people, they feel bad, they feel depressed, so they depend on other people to certify them. Their certification depends on the approval of other people because of what they have, the comments they wrote, or the number of likes, or the number of followership, or the number of things happening around their post. There was one day I picked a game on my phone and I started playing this game. I was just idle, so I started playing this game. I discovered that there was this push within me. I wanted to play more. I wanted to play more. I kept pushing. I kept pushing to play more. I did not want the opponent in the game to beat me. So before I knew it, I was getting carried away. I had to consciously and deliberately call myself to order and remind myself that if I continue with this game, I was not going to gain anything at the end of the day. So I had to discipline myself. So you discover that some kids, when they are watching television, they lose focus, they lose concentration. Okay, you call Emeka, go pick those plates, go and drop them in the kitchen. Emeka is going to the kitchen. Emeka is turning back to watch the next incident that is coming up. And while Emeka is watching the next incident, Emeka hits the breakable plate on the wall, or hits something on the wall and it gets broken, or hits himself. So unnecessary attachment, excessive exposure to screen time causes nearsightedness or myopia. According to World Health Organization and the research, it is estimated that by the year 2050, almost 5 billion people will be suffering from nearsightedness, or what we call short-sightedness or myopia, because of the constant use of the screen. It's also estimated that 16 times, or kids exposed to too much screen have 16 times danger of suffering from myopia. So it's important that we know that we are about help, we are helping our children. And one thing I often suggest to parents is to avoid paying for the DSTV or whatsoever medium or media that you're exposed to at home. You avoid paying for it or subscribing, and get the children engaged in meaningful activities so that your own children will grow up to be watched. Excess exposure causes eye strain, causes or causes the eyes to become blurry. So it's left for you as that is when you begin to hear even some adults complain that their eyes are itching, or that the laptop screen is affecting their eyes. They begin to look for the blue cover to protect their eyes. It can affect excessive exposure to the television. If you allow your young child to consistently sit in front of the screen, or in front of the TV, or in front of whatsoever, you've discovered that your child will not be able to develop fine motor skills effectively, communication skills effectively, interpersonal relationship effectively. These things will be affected. Your child will not be able to understand properly or effectively how to interact with the people that he or she is looking at face to face. Another danger is that when you consistently leave your child exposed to the television or to whatsoever you expose your child to, you are exposing your child to negative role models. And there's nothing you can do about it, because we all live by example. We all copy others. The Bible says there's nothing new under heaven. You find your child, or let's say children are copycats. Monkey see, monkey do. The children, they will do what they have seen or what they have heard. They will now be left to listen to songs that may not be healthy. And if you're subscribing to the DSTV and you're subscribing to the full package, you find out that your children, especially your teenagers, will begin to watch some musical stations where ladies expose themselves, and you begin to wonder where your child learned pornography from. So it's highly important that you take decision. We're getting there. That is part of the last part of this video. So it also leads to sleep disruption.